I'm Lisa Ann McCall, physical therapist, posture princess, lover of movement. Today, we're going to talk about the squat. Squatting, it's got a reputation that it's hard to do, it's easy to do, all sorts of things. And why I like squatting is because I think we're designed to squat. But more than that, when you learn to squat, you gain a tremendous amount of mobility, strength, and you just will be amazed at how it will fit into other areas of your life. It'll make bending easier. It'll make rolling over in bed easier. It will make gardening easier. It will make basketball easier. I mean, I know this sounds silly, but I want you to understand that squatting is a really powerful tool, and we don't have to be able to squat all the way to the ground to get the benefit. Now, in my world, the quality of your movement is key, it's paramount. And I'm going to show you how many people squat that I don't think it's a really true squat. It's a westernized squat. I don't know, it's not that bad, it's not that good, that's not the point. The point is it anatomically helping your body to move better? Because when you do it with skill and you modify it, you're going to get a lot more out of it than if you just get your butt to the ground with your heels on the ground. So I care more about how you do something so that you get the most from it. So it's not how deep of a squat you can do, it's the quality of your squat. So I'm going to show you some of the tools that I use to make squatting really nice. I'm bringing your squat up from the ground so that you can sit and do things in a pretty comfortable position, and then your hips open, your hips in back get stronger, and all sorts of good things occur. All right, so let's go to it. I have a few props today, so I want to explain them. So I have tripod chairs here. I'm a big fan of tripod chairs. This one's from Africa, and the likelihood of you finding one and being okay with sitting this low may not be your thing. It's not important. It's leather, it's nice, it's comfortable, but there are other ones out there that work just fine and maybe even more adaptable for you in your life. So when do you use a tripod chair? Whenever you're sitting, if you want. You can sit and watch TV. It's not that you have to stay there forever in it. You can sit and work, on your laptop, squatting in one of these. You can do it when you're out. I know people play pickleball. You could take this and you're sitting in this position between your pickleball rounds and just getting more balance. You'll have ability to play with greater balance because your hips are more in line with your spine. Okay, so I'm going to also show you how to do it, if you want to join, without having a tripod chair right now. If you could either do an end of a couch like this or of a chaise lounge, or what I'm using this is a table, a small end table, and I'm going to show you how to do it with that. The difference, now really go with me on this because this is going to kind of confuse people. The difference between sitting on this and let's say sitting on this, you're going to be dipping down and squatting more on that, okay? And this one you're not. I'm going to actually elevate your bottom a little. Now, I don't want this to confuse you. Just think of it as both of them are taking you lower down than what maybe you're used to, and that depending on the surface, like this surface is a dip, this surface is flat. If I have a flat surface, I need to put a pillow here to wedge to make it more comfortable and easier on your spine. When your crotch can drop, it's easier on your spine. Two different things, they don't counter each other, You don't need to really deeply understand. I care that you experience it and that you can do it and like it. Understanding here is not near as important as understanding here, okay? I'm going to start off with sort of my favorite, other than my African chair. This is sort of my favorite that I recommend. It's Field and Stream. You can get it at a hunting store. The reason I like it is because it's not very expensive. It's got a big, wide seat. And what I've learned over the years is most people feel more comfortable if they just throw a towel or a blanket in there, because it can be a little bit much after a while, or maybe not for you. So I just recommend, first I'll just sit on it, and then you can just put something in it if you like. So I have a corner here. I pick one corner. I'm going to do the same thing in this sitting position that I've done many times on all my videos. Fingers on the spine, legs apart, toes planted, thighs turn out, buttocks goes in the air. Back becomes flat. I am an L. I still have my groove in my low back. I find this chair, I center my crotch, and I try to put my crotch right in the center. Another way of knowing that is I don't sit on the pockets of my shorts. So I may bring my butt back a little, and that would be more on bone. So I have a little flesh sitting here. I'm not sitting on my pockets. I'm more on the crotch or the pubic bone of your pelvis. Okay? So here are my hips. I'm not tucked under. But when I sit centered like this, I do not have to work at keeping my body upright. This is a squat, okay? It's an elevated squat, but it's a quality squat. So what is not a quality squat? I'm going to show you what, and it's not that if you squat and you love the squat I'm going to show you in a moment, and you say I'm fine, well then fine. But I'm a structure lady. I'm a physical therapist. I care that the alignment is really sweet, because I know if your alignment is good, then the right muscles are being used, and the better balance you'll have, and the better proprioception you'll have, which means your body, where your body is in space, the more relaxed you will be, the right muscle groups you will use. So I come from a perspective of the quality of the movement really matters for joint pain, joint healing, yada, 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 as you know. Okay, that was a little spill there. Okay, so here we go. What is a not so quality squat? When people go down, they lose their groove in their back, the arch. I'm going to step back a little. I'm going to learn this way. And what happens, even if I got my heels on the ground, the weight of my body is more in my neck. Now, a quality squat, I can't quite get my heels down, but my spine stays straight. And if I got really good at this, my pelvis would drop even more between my legs, and I would have a broad back. And what you would notice is that this part in here becomes in a way more open. You feel it. The difference between a quality squat is there's more of you dropping, and a not so quality squat is you're rolling and your weight is in your low back and your neck and in your knees. Now it looks good, like impressive to people maybe, not to me. So when I get out of a squat, I take my butt up. Let's do one more. Higher chair. So say you're tall or you're real limited in your hips. You can put something in there to make it a little more comfy. Straddle. Fingers on your spine. Bottoms up, thighs turn out. Squat down on the crotch of your pants. So my butt is back here, meaning I kind of pull my butt up. It's not tucked under. okay? So that's a nice squat. This to you may feel very, very demanding, and maybe it won't. This is a smaller surface area, but taller. Everybody's different, everybody's height and everything. Now, one more thing I want to show you is how can you do it right now, sort of, kind of do it. You know, you're in your house, you don't have one of these. Get a table that's low. Whoops. Get a pillow. Why do I have a pillow? Because the back of this pillow is going to elevate my butt a little back here and will take some stress off my spine. Let me show you, and you'll get it a little more. Remember, it's a flat surface, so I treat it different than a surface that drops. Fingers on my spine, thighs turn out, butt goes up. I sit on my crotch towards the front of this pillow. All right, you say, well, what's the pillow for? Now watch, I'll show you. This is supporting, in a sense, it's giving my back freedom. It doesn't have to work. I don't want you to work while you're sitting in a chair. I want your body to adapt and relax. So your structure is holding you up, not the tension of your muscles. It's a different theory. So if I took this away and I sat, it may be minor to you, but you will probably have to work in your back to keep your pelvis in the right position. It's subtle. Could I sit like this and be centered? Yes. But I've been doing this for like 30 plus years. So no, I don't have to have something really underneath me. You become sort of like the princess in the pea, if you know what that is. I would prefer just to have a tiny bit because I can feel the difference, okay? You become extremely sensitive in a way that is to your benefit when you do this work over and over again. It's so amazing how the awareness of your body starts to wake up. And I think of it like many athletes, like we have the NBA going on right now, the playoffs. And the precision, the way that those guys can feel that ball and pass that ball, and the proprioception and the sensory receptors in their hands and their whole body that connects to do that is what the human body has to offer for every movement. You don't. We tend to go basketball, sitting, bending. That's posture. That's sport. No, it's movement. It's your body balancing with gravity until the day you die. You're here, you balance with gravity, whether you're lying down, standing up, whatever you're doing, then boop, you're back in the ground again. So I don't divide up movement. I just see movement as a whole. I see a bigger picture. So I can tell you right now that you should try this and feel the difference. Maybe a thicker pillow. And so then you go over and you bend, and you sit down and you go, oh, you sit forward and you go, oh, that feels better. Or, oh, the other one felt better. Or I need more. You know, that's what you're going to do. Now to get up, no matter what it is, it's strange, but my head will go down and my butt will go up. Very strange to people. But if I am if I am pivoting from here, I'm going to go down with my head and up with my butt. That is the hardest thing for people to grasp, is this cantilever kind of thing. But that is what your hips are designed to do. Your back gets super strong. You get really stable. You become more comfortable because your spine is more aligned, so that sitting in anything like these, I sit forward on my crotch. I'm okay. People love this that have back pain, hip pain, knee pain. They tend to really love this. Or if they just want to gain better range of motion. And this is also what I use in gardening, which we'll do another gardening video. But it's a really good gardening tool so you can get close to the ground and get stronger and more mobile. So we'll do more with that later. We did it earlier, but we'll do more with that later. So there's your first 15 minutes. Whoops. Now, Q&A.
Fernando in Tucson says, I've got really, he underlines, really limited range of motion in my knees.
Okay.
How can I squat?
Oopsie, I know that story really well. Okay, you just need to start up high. And when you say limited range, I'm going to assume that you want to improve that range of motion. I don't know enough about your knees to know if you had knee replacements and you just scar down real easy and you can't get more knee range of motion, or you're just kind of tight and you'd like to be more mobile. So I don't have the details, but here's what I would do. I would pile something up, like pillows up higher, like that. And you could also do it on a, why don't I do it again different? On the corner of a, that's the corner of a chaise lounge, right? Whoops. And I get over here, and I take my bottom up in the air, and I squat on my crotch, and you may feel a stretch. And if you don't feel a stretch, get rid of one of the pillows. And you go up, and you sit on the front until you can move enough to where you feel a stretch, and you can bring your legs in or out, and you know you're centered and you're getting a stretch to your hips and knees. And then you're going to get up. Here's the deal. If you have tight knees, which is what you're saying, you need mobility in your ankles and hips, or you may run into quite a few problems as you age. So when one joint is tight, we need to give more, help it with other joints. So I would do this, learn to bend, get range of motion in your hips better, and start high. And if you can get more mobility, which most people can, it's just a matter of being dedicated a little bit to the process, then you should feel your knees should move better and your hips should move better. And you need to just really focus on committing to it, to something that isn't challenging, like, oh, I can sit on the corner of that for a while. You know, you've got to make it doable. You got to put something in your life that you constantly do it and you go, well, yeah, I'm getting better, but make it easy. Pick something that's very doable. Thank you.
Cinders in Portland says, is my crotch my hips?
Okay. Your crotch is part of your hips. So, should have brought some shorts in here. So let's do it this way. So I have on jean shorts. You see these jeans. And you know there's a seam. There's a seam right there. See that? Okay, you got the seam in the shorts. Everybody knows that. You got the zipper, you got the seam that goes up the middle, you got the pockets. Take the seam of your pants, where they go from leg to leg and they go from front to back, okay? That right there is your crotch. And that is also where your pubic bone is. So here is your hip. One bone, the other bone, and where they meet is in the crotch and back here with the spine. So we got a bone and a bone, and we bring them together, and we got two bones together, which is the pubic area, crotch, and then we got these bones come together where the spine comes down, and you got your tailbone and your sacrum. And that's what that is, where my hand is. So bone, bone, come together here and down there. So that's your pelvis. Yes. Yes, it is. It's where they come together.
Quentin in Dallas asks, with my stiffness, I look more like a C than an L.
That's all right.
Can I still squat?
Yeah. Here's the deal. Nobody's going to be, most people are going to have a struggle with this at first. Or you'd be doing it, right? Whatever. So you're going to be more of a C. Let's say you get one of these. It's a little low, but it's got a good seat. And it's cheap. Okay. So, Quentin, put a pillow in there. Bend. And let's say you sit down and you're kind of like that. All right? Then what you do is you really work on stretching up periodically. And you'll feel your upper back work, or maybe your low back. It could be anywhere along your back. You'll feel it work, and you'll feel a stretch here. And you stay here, maybe you can watch a little TV, you can do a little bit of computer work. But let's say you stay here for 3 or 4 minutes. Then you get up and you go your way. You come back, you really work on getting over as much as you can, and with a straight spine, you sit, you stretch your neck up, you do the same thing, repeat and rinse. You will get better. You will change, but you will be limited in the beginning, probably. Most everyone is. I was. It took a long time for me to get something like that to work. But I just kept feeling better, and I kept relaxing, so the process was, everything's a process. So the process I enjoyed feeling better, I enjoyed getting stronger, I enjoyed the process. It's never ending. I can't squat to the ground with my heels on the ground and stay there for long periods of time like people in Central America or in Africa can do, that live and go to the bathroom in the ground. I can't hold that and do that, but who cares? I can always get better, and I enjoy it, and my life doesn't demand it, but the more movement I have in my hips in a quality way, it's key. The better my life gets in the movement world. Yeah.
Reggie in Phoenix says, I am really stiff, and I worry about once I get down, I can't get up.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people do. Okay. Then you start high. So, and you make sure there's stuff around you that helps you get out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. So let's say you've got a chair. You've got a chair close by, okay? Or do this with a chair close by, okay? So you try to do this, and you bend over, like I tell you, and then you think, I'm not going to be able to get out of this. There's no way. You know, you feel like you've fallen in a hole. And usually that's how your body is, like this. You got a chair close by. And what you're going to do, this is like really tight. You know, you're like, whoa, why did I do this? Crazy lady up there in Flagstaff. And I'm all a C curve and I can't get out. You grab your chair and you let it pull you upright some. And you're like, okay, I'm straighter now. I'm straighter. Okay, this isn't all bad. Matter of fact, this is good. And then you throw your butt in the air and use the chair to get up. And you do that about 5 to 10 times, and it's going to get easier. Every single time you do it, you learn, oh, if I throw my butt up, it's easier than crawling. I'm not going to pull myself out of this. I'm going to throw my butt in the air. Okay? Boom, boom, bottoms up. So that's a little way of being okay, knowing you can pull yourself out of that.
This is a related question from Bill here in Flagstaff. I'm stiff too. Can I start out in a regular sized chair?
Yeah, why not? Why not do that? Good idea. So let's do it. Let's make a tripod. Let's start the squat up here. So I'm going to put this there. Now, if you'll notice, I'm taking the corner of a chair to act like one of these tripods. And you could have another chair here, or a table, or a desk. Okay? So play like there's something here. You go over, you sit on the corner. And you go, okay, I can do this. And you got the pillow back there. And you just practice that. And then maybe in time, you have a coffee table. Well, a high coffee table or ottoman. And you bend and you have something in front of you. You sit on that. So I went from that to that. But I'm making the corner here. But remember something. You're not pulling yourself out of the chair, if possible. You're hinging and you're throwing your butt up. I want you to get that, if nothing else, today. It's momentum. Boom. It's not pulling yourself out. So yes, start with a chair, then a low table, and see how it goes. It's good. I like it.
Dennis in Page says, I don't get the difference between a flat seat and a curved one.
Yeah, I know. That's really complicated a little bit. I was worried that was going to complicate you on this. What I want you to think about is that I am having your legs apart and having you sit on your crotch. And you're lower. So your legs are apart, sitting on your crotch. I teach this a lot in the chair, but I'm imitating a tripod chair. Going down into the tripod chair and sitting in it is really a lot harder to get out of. That's the squat. That's the part of the squat that's the hardest. What I'm doing here is I am making up other ways to get to that. So if I put you on a lower piece of furniture that's flat, then I'm getting you more mobile in your hips. Okay? So you're more mobile in your hips on a flat surface, but lower. Okay? Now, if I'm moving you down lower than that into a tripod chair like a squat, you are going to be more in a squat than that is. But this is a progression. I'm a physical therapist. I believe in progressions. I believe from starting here to going to there to going to there. Okay? The more you do it on the corner of the chair to that to this, the more you will feel, okay, a similarity until you get here. And then what happens here is that your crotch is lower than your knees. And that is the beginning of a really squat position. But not many people can do this well. So why don't we start chair, table, then here? This is more realistic to us. But dropping your crotch lower than your knees is challenging for most Westerners. So if you will think about feeling it more than understanding it here, and then get back to me and see what you think. But that's really the difference. And I'm just a progression person. I don't want to throw people in a chair like this if they can't do it. I'd rather go boom, boom, boom. That's kind of how I see it. Yeah.
Last question from Angie in Phoenix. What's more important, deep bending in the knees or straight backs going down?
I don't think it's an either or, but I would say they're kissing cousins. You got to keep your back straight, or the pelvis goes into a different position. So here's the deal. If my spine is straight and my knees are not bent very much, most people won't go very far. See that? I can go really a lot further than most people. Most people can't go far keeping their spine straight and their knees straight or straighter. So, keeping the spine straight is critical. So put my hands on my back, I have my small arch, I bend forward, Well, I can't go very far, so why don't I put a little more space between my feet? Why don't I bend my knees a little? Then my bottom goes up a little higher because that loosens up, that gives me a little more range right here in my hamstrings. If I keep my legs straight, that's fine, but you're not going to go maybe as far. So they work together. I would say spine straight is more important, but the bending of the knees is going to make it a lot easier, especially early on. And then later on, bending of the knees, and that's way later on, isn't quite as big deal. You just find you'll find in your own body. You don't really need to understand this in your head. You need to understand your own anatomy. You really do. You could be tall, you could be short, you could be tight, you could be loose, you could be in pain, not in pain. But you got to get there and put your hands on your back, keep that arch, straighten that spine, be as much of an L as you can. Sit on your crotch, get up, get down, get up, get down, get up, get down, and over and over and over and over. And you're just going to feel better. It's just the way it is. Okay, so that's my scoop on squatting. So go to my website, and you can get on my newsletter if you want. McCall Method. Go to the first page, go to the bottom. It tells you how to get a newsletter. Newsletters have a link on them oftentimes for my free Zoom class. So I just had one yesterday. I'm going to have one or two next month. I only send out 1 or 2 newsletters a month, so don't sweat it. Please like, please share, please come back, please email me and tell me what you think. McCallmethod.com. Thank you.